Tonight, Ontario is ramping up its booster rollout in a big way.
Nothing matters more than getting these third shots into arms.
Anyone 18 and up will be eligible to get their booster shot in a matter of days as the province expands its third dose rollout. Plus, Ontario also announcing a holiday testing blitz, handing out free rapid tests across the province while bringing back capacity limits for large indoor venues. And
we felt it was absolutely best to make the decision sooner rather than later.
Universities in the province are busy making adjustments, many making the move to online learning come the new year amid concerns over the Omicron variant. Get used to seeing scenes like this. People lined up down the block outside the Metro Toronto Convention Centre tonight, waiting to get their COVID-19 booster shot. And lines are only expected to get longer as the province announced today they're expanding eligibility. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. Starting Monday, anyone 18 and older in Ontario who had their second shot at least 3 months ago will be eligible to book their third dose. Now, capacity restrictions are also returning for large indoor events such as sports and concerts. These changes coming as concerns continue to grow over the Omicron variant, which officials say is now spreading rapidly across the country. Lorena Redikob has more.
Walk-in vaccine clinics like this one can expand to everyone 18 and up as of Friday. It's the same for pharmacies. And people can go after a shorter interval, 3 months after their second dose. Here it's already busy with people 50 plus.
Before we even started, we had a lineup before the clinic opened. So far, we have done over 1,000 doses already, and it's only midday.
That rush is expected to get much busier.
We're going to make sure that every corner of this province, there's going to be someone there to give an Ontarian a booster shot.
The provincial vaccine portal will open up for expanded booking on Monday. Already this afternoon, it was down. The Premier is also encouraging people 50 plus who've already booked an appointment to switch to an earlier date.
We want to be able to be safe over the holidays and get back to a little bit of normalcy.
It's very important because what's going on now in the whole world, the new virus, right? So you got to protect yourself.
Starting Saturday, capacity limits are coming to indoor venues that fit more than 1,000 people. They'll drop to 50% capacity, but restaurants and bars will not face limits.
Compared to a restaurant, that's comparing apples and bananas as far as I'm concerned, not even apples and oranges. But, you know, they have strict protocols in these restaurants, and they've done an incredible job. They're spacing people out, and they're being masked unless you're eating. And there's a big difference between a restaurant and 20,000 people in an arena.
Vaccinations will also start at businesses. Bruce Power will be the first starting next week, with mobile vaccine clinics expanding.
We're going to ramp it up like they've never seen before.
These changes come as today new cases rose to 1,808, the highest since May 21st. According to the province's science table, 53% of cases are estimated to be caused by Omicron, with those cases doubling in 2.2 days. 81% of all eligible Ontarians 5 and up have 2 doses, though unvaccinated people still make up the highest number of people in hospital due to COVID-19 and also in the ICU. With Omicron taking hold in the province, could more restrictions be coming?
Let me tell you, everything's on the table. I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you where the cases will be in 2 weeks.
Lorena Redikob, CBC News, Toronto.
The owner of the Leafs and Raptors is supporting the measures brought in today. MLSE says capacity will be reduced to 50% for the Raptors' next game on Saturday, and that they'll announce what that means for ticket holders within the next 24 hours. Scotiabank Arena is also enhancing enforcement around masking. They say anyone not wearing their mask when they're supposed to will risk being ejected. The Ontario government has also announced a holiday testing blitz as part of its response to rising COVID numbers. Starting today, free rapid tests are being given out at sites across the province. Chris Glover has the details.
Do you need that extra one? Of course.
Commuters at Eglinton Station gifted with a COVID rapid test.
It's really hard to find them.
This is I was shocked.
Raman Kumar wants everyone coming to his Christmas Eve dinner to rest easy.
We have a lot of elders in our family. We just want to be safe.
Up to 2 million rapid tests will be given away this holiday at malls, libraries, and transit hubs as part of the province's new giveaway Blitz to prevent a holiday-fueled COVID surge. Dr. Nahid Dasani says free and accessible tests are long overdue.
Everyday Ontarians deserve access and shouldn't have to pay $40 per test to access one.
Third dose vaccinations are also critical against the vaccine vexing variant Omicron. Toronto is staffing up the city's 5 mass vaccination clinics that will once again run 7 days a week, all to facilitate the province's move to expand third dose eligibility.
We decided much earlier on to keep them open and to keep them operating, which will now help us to ramp up for the booster shots.
Mayor Tory announced more than 20,000 appointments have already been added to the city's booking system. Today, mask mandates for businesses and condos were also extended in Toronto until at least April 2022. But throughout the pandemic, Toronto and Peel have been the provincial COVID hotspots. Currently, though, it's Kingston, Algoma, and Temiskaming with the highest number of active cases per capita. On Monday, multiple new restrictions kicked in for people in Kingston, most notably indoor and outdoor social gatherings of more than 5 people are now banned. Back in Toronto, depending on how the winter holidays go, parents may be in for a nasty surprise. The Toronto District School Board sent a letter today warning parents to prepare for a shift to remote learning. Toronto kids will also be sent home with 5 rapid tests each.
I just think testing is like the one thing that's going to help us this holiday.
Providing peace of mind for some in a world with precious little of it. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Universities in the province are also busy making adjustments amidst the rise of the Omicron variant. Numerous schools are now gearing up for a return to online learning in the new year. But as Dahlia Ashry reports, not all experts think it's the right move.
With things moving rapidly with the Omicron variant, Toronto city officials are advising workplaces, including post-secondary institutions, to take precautions now.
The Chief Medical Officers of Health recommendation that those who can work from home.
York University had initially planned to return to in-person learning for their winter semester, starting in January. But today, a change of plans.
Start the term on time, January 10th, but to be in a remote format delivery for the first 2 weeks.
The university said it made the decision to act quick to ensure faculty has enough time during the break to prepare, but also for health and safety reasons.
Especially New Year's Eve, and where people might gather together to celebrate, that it was just safer to give more time away from those celebrations.
McMaster University is also moving classes online in January, but for 1 week only, while the University of Toronto will be transitioning to remote learning effective tomorrow until the end of January. It's unclear whether Ryerson University will be following suit. CBC reached out to the school but hasn't heard back. On campus, attitudes are mixed.
Even though how much I would like to be in person, I think that would be the best decision for Ryerson to take.
I feel like the lectures are fine being remote, but I feel like the labs could be more useful to have in person.
This infectious disease expert, however, says moving classes online won't make much of a difference.
Perhaps it could slow it down for a day. I'm just to kind of give some throw of time there. But I think that in the grand scheme of things, this is like a freight train coming at us. Likely going to be very quick. But once that replacement happens, the vast majority of us will be exposed at some point.
Meanwhile, Queen's University has postponed all in-person exams to the new year, and Western University is moving all exams online. Dahlia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
Meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Colette, a bit of a wet one out there tonight, and the mild temperatures continue.
Yeah, this, Kelda, is another situation very similar to what went through last weekend in terms of the development and what we're going to be seeing from the storm system. Now, obviously, hopefully not the outbreak like they had stateside through last weekend with that storm, but there are going to be heavy rains through there and certainly some damaging winds, and winds are what we need to worry about. So strong southwesterly winds, and that's why we've got the areas that are into the warning, but there'll be many areas and we could see that expand landing, where the gusts are going to be 80, even towards 90 kilometers or stronger. So special weather statements because there's going to be strong winds throughout the area, and those really pick up through the day tomorrow. So looking ahead in terms of the wet weather, yeah, a little bit still this evening, and then we get kind of a dry slot through the overnight hours. And into that dry slot tomorrow morning as well. So if you also have sunny breaks plus the warming temperature, could be a few nice moments there until we get the midday showers coming in, until the winds get so strong that it becomes harder to appreciate those conditions. Overnight tonight, 10 degrees, and then tomorrow, that would be a new record if we make that 16 degrees, Kelda.
Thanks so much, Colette.
You're welcome.
Just 10 days until Christmas, and for many hoping to get away for the holidays, plans are now up in the air. The federal government bringing back its advisory against non-essential travel today in a bid to combat the Omicron variant. Dale Manukduk reports.
To those who were planning to travel, I say very clearly, now is not the time to travel.
Federal Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos urging Canadians to cancel travel plans. That didn't do much for a bustling Pearson International Airport today. News of the advisory being reintroduced drew mixed reaction.
It sucks, I don't know, but there's nothing I can really do about it.
I think it's a reasonable thing. I honestly wish every country would close its borders.
Fully vaccinated, let's go. But while some couldn't wait to board their planes, others had some valid concerns about being able to return.
Traveling Canadians could contract the virus or get stranded abroad.
Worried, as long as I can get in, because I have school here.
Yeah, hopefully there won't be issues. We don't know. It's difficult times to travel, there's no doubt.
The advisory is meant to slow the spread of the Omicron variant, but just how effective will it be?
Because the Omicron variant is already here, a travel ban isn't going to affect whether Omicron becomes the dominant strain or not, because it's already spreading in the community.
Dr. Christopher Labo says an effective travel measure would be to test everyone coming into the country and making a 2-week isolation period mandatory.
We've never done things that aggressively, but if at the very least you can get everybody to test negative when they come into the country, I mean, that helps substantially. It's not a perfect system because false negatives can still happen.
In addition to the new travel warning, Duclos says the Public Health Agency of Canada will ramp up the mandatory arrival testing program in the country's airports. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Turning to some other news now, police are asking for the public's help in locating a man wanted in a fatal hit-and-run last weekend. It happened on Sunday night at around 7:30. An 82-year-old man was crossing Shepherd Avenue East near Kennedy Road when he was struck by an SUV. Police have recovered that SUV, but they're still looking for the driver. 39-year-old Faisal Kaleem Aslam is wanted for leaving the scene of an accident causing death. He is described as 5'8" with a slight to medium build, shoulder-length straight hair, and a gray and black beard that varies in length. And police have arrested 2 men and issued a warrant for a third in connection to a triple shooting in September. It happened on September 18th, just before 9 p.m. in the area of Oak and Sumac in Regent Park. 2 men were transported to hospital with serious injuries. A third victim died on scene. He has since been identified as 27-year-old Than Murray of Toronto. Police say they arrested 2 men this week in connection to the shooting. Noah Anderson and Junior Jermaine Harvey have been charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder. They are both 20 years old. An arrest warrant is also out for 27-year-old Jabril Elmi, who is wanted on the same charges. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact police. Brampton's City Council has unanimously passed a motion to help fund the legal battle against Quebec's controversial Bill 21, pledging $100,000 to the National Council of Canadian Muslims, World Sikh Organization of Canada, and Canadian Civil Liberties Association. Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown is appealing to other Canadian mayors to follow suit, saying the bill infringes on religious freedom.
It's not a fair fight when you have racialized communities struggling to defend the Canadian Charter against a provincial government with unlimited legal resources. That's not a level playing field.
Under the bill, civil servants who wear religious symbols at work can be fired or reassigned, prompting countless protests since it was passed in 2019. Brampton unanimously passed a resolution that same year opposing the bill and was the first municipality to do so. And meanwhile, 2 days ago, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said his government won't intervene in the bill's ongoing legal battle, saying he wants to avoid triggering a jurisdictional spat with Quebec. Welcome back. A new program is helping to connect students with seniors that need tech support. Student Helpers is a free service founded by Matt McCoy, a recent university grad, and a few of his friends after they saw that high school students were having trouble fulfilling their volunteer hours during the pandemic, while seniors were needing more help with technology. I met up with McCoy to learn more about it. So Matt, tell me about how you came up with Student Helpers.
Yeah, so interestingly, during the pandemic, a lot of my friends and I kind of became the go-to tech support for our parents and our grandparents. My mom's actually a teacher, was in her last year of teaching, and she had to move everything online during the pandemic. So I was kind of the go-to tech support, my sister and I. After a couple of Google searches, I just saw that there was a large amount of seniors that lived kind of alone, and there also wasn't really an easy way for them to get in touch with someone when they had those everyday technology questions.
So Matt and his friends Alex, Gamsa, and Kaylee set up a free hotline people can call with their tech questions and started recruiting student volunteers through high schools and getting the word out to seniors through community centers. What was the response from your parents when you told them that you were going to start this?
When I told my parents about what we were doing, they were just like, oh, so you don't want us to call, you don't want us to bother you anymore? I mean, I always want to be there to help, and a lot of my friends are kind of saying the same thing. We always want to be there to help, but if we're not, we don't want you to not ask the question. And we also don't want you to feel like you're being a burden or anything like that. So our students, again, they have like that direct reason to want to help, and there's hundreds of students, so there's always some students that are available to help. So it's really basic how it happens. So our seniors can just call us directly on our hotline, and then when they call in, they'll speak with Alex or myself. We'll get some more information from them just to figure out what their problem is, what kind of issues that they're having. And then we go and post that opportunity to our student volunteers, and someone who's knowledgeable on the topic and available at that time can accept that request and give the senior a call back. The average request actually only takes 25 seconds to get accepted by students. We've actually spoken to seniors even out west, out in Vancouver area.
As for the questions seniors call in with, examples include how to navigate their new smartphone or tablet, how to download an app, and how to set up an Instagram or Facebook account to stay connected with their loved ones. Some calls lasting for hours.
Honestly, it's a little bit of everything. It's always surprising. It's always like a new mystery whenever someone calls. We're like, okay, what are they going to need help with? One senior I actually just spoke with today was talking about how one of her favorite things about the network is that she can kind of have that peace of mind that whenever she is doing something online or considering getting a phone or a tablet, that she kind of has that peace of mind that when she does call in, that there's always going to be someone available to help her out. So that's really been meaningful to hear. I don't think I'll ever forget the feeling when we first started doing these interactions, and I think that it's a big motivator to keep it going.
And seniors who need tech help or tech support can call Student Helpers through their free hotline anytime at 1-833-989-8355. And this is a live shot of the Toronto skyline, cloudy with a bit of rainfall tonight, and get ready for that wind. Currently 8 degrees in the city. Let's go back to Colette now. And Colette, we're in for some really heavy gusts, also potentially record-breaking warmth on the way.
Yeah, so all kinds of things happening with this system moving in and how it's going to have an impact on us. And one of those things, certainly, probably the most noticeable, but close second will be the temperatures, will be the winds, because they'll be so gusty. And at the top of the show, I was kind of showing you earlier about some of the wind warnings in place, a special weather statement, because we may see some power outages. You can see this graphic here. That's a tree that's kind of toppled here, so it could bring down some some limbs could bring down some power lines, something to watch for. Now, the record temperature Thursday is 15.4 degrees at Pearson, and I'm forecasting 16. So yes, indeed, not just tying, but we'd be breaking a record if we reach that. And then, yeah, what about a turnaround? Behind this system, we go from mild to cooler air coming in, and we might see a little bit of measurable snow on the weekend. Saturday, we could get a few inches up to 5 is how it looks at this point. But let's deal with this system first, right? We get into a dry slot overnight, so tomorrow morning actually has some potential to feel kind of good. The winds won't be terribly strong yet, but they'll be ramping up. And then midday, the showers come in and the winds get even stronger. Now, keep in mind, southwestern Ontario, you're going to be seeing those really strong winds as early as the morning hours. Now, behind this, we will see some lake effects setting up once we get more of a westerly, then eventually northwesterly flow. But check out how strong these winds are. So this is through the overnight. Some of the gusts already by tomorrow morning, you can see how strong they are into southwestern Ontario and coming in off the lake. So some flooding concerns through here as well. And then we see those stretching eastward and getting stronger and stronger. And in terms of getting out of these strong winds, I mean, this is 11 o'clock tomorrow night. We really have to, for eastern Ontario, it'll be afternoon Friday before you really find things calming down a bit better. Tonight, a look at those temperatures. Isn't that incredible? Yeah, because we're talking about temperatures either steady or actually rising through the overnight. Some daytime highs looking very good for tomorrow, especially once you get the clearing there. It's just hang on to everything. Temperatures rising toward morning here as well, and then headed up to what I expect will be a record high for Thursday. And then we get one day to adjust, and then the cool down, Kelda, for Saturday with the snow.
All right. Thanks so much, Colette.
You're welcome.
Billy Bishop Airport's Ferry is returning to service today with a few changes. The Maryland Bell, which transports passengers between the airport and mainland, has become the country's first electric ferry.
We had to design and build it from scratch. We had magnificent partners, Canadian partners right across Canada to help design and help to convert the ferry. 530 tons of greenhouse gases annually removed from the operation. And not to play this down too, but the ferry itself now is a much quieter operation.
The 200-passenger vessel is 100% electric lithium-ion powered, containing no diesel components. Billy Bishop says it marks a significant step in its goal to make the airport cleaner, greener, and quieter. That's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.